Hey all, I'm Sarah and this is Moonraker Makes. Hi crafty friends, my name is Sarah, this is Moonraker Makes. Welcome back to my channel. This is Moonraker Makes is a channel where I talk about whatever I've been crafting lately. A lot of knitting, some crochet, weaving, baking, whatever I've been getting into. Today we are going to talk about a standard podcast format. So finished objects, got a few whips, and acquisitions. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about some of the next things in my queue. I highly recommend a drink or a snack. I've got a cold beverage today. We are officially in sweaty season here in Atlanta. I am not wearing any hand knits today. I haven't finished a summer blend kind of tank top t-shirt sort of situation yet. That's still in progress, so I'm just wearing like a cotton pointelle shirt today. I have two finished objects to talk about today, one of which you've seen and one is a surprise. So the first is my Quilty Cabin socks. I absolutely love the way these turned out. They're so squishy. I haven't taken any good photos for Instagram or Ravelry yet, so all I have is like some in progress photos right now. It's just been so hot. The idea of putting on wool socks was not gonna happen, but I absolutely love the ways these came out. I think I would totally knit this pattern again. I'm really happy with the way the yarn bloomed out. I knit these in a hand-dyed skein from Mint Rain, which is a Michigan hand-dyed yarn in the shade Penny. And the contrast color is Knitting for Olives Merino in the shade Marzipan. The Quilty Cabin socks are a pattern by Crooked River Crochet. I knit these I'm looking at my Ravelry notes on my iPad. I knit this in the size 5, and I used about 70 grams of the Mint Rain sock yarn, and then I used about 7 grams of Knitting for Olives Marzipan for the color work. I knit these pretty fast. For me, it took about, I cast them on May 1st and I cast them off on June 17th, which is pretty fast for me. It was about a month and a half, but I did have a major international trip, not international. I mean, Alaska's, it's pretty far. I had a really long flight to work on and finished basically the first sock while I was on the plane. And then the second one just kind of flew by. I had some other things going on where I was just like knitting a sock was a really convenient thing to do. So I knit these pretty fast for me. Normally it takes me a few months to finish a pair of socks because I'm just kind of knitting them like on the go and like little spans of time. That's why I always like having a sock cast on. But these I knit up really quickly. And like I said, I would totally knit this pattern again. I did have some issues with, this is not pattern related, this is me related, with some of the decreases and the way that they looked. I thought they looked kind of rough when the sock was unblocked, but now that they're blocked, the way the yarn plumped up kind of either covered up my sins or made them look, or it was never an issue to begin with. It just needed to block out. So that was nice. My second finished object is a Riviera bag. This is a pattern by Suzanne Mueller. It is a crochet project, and this was not in my last podcast because I cast it on and cast it off in a very short amount of time. I knit this with Wool and the Gang's Rah Rah Raffia, which if you watched my local yarn store video, you saw I picked up 3 skeins of it at a local yarn store called Yarning for You in Vinings, which is kind of like northwestern Atlanta. I got almost all the way through the bag. I think I got to, here, I'll hold it up. So I added this like vintage secondhand silk scarf, but I'm really, really happy with the way this turned out. I got all the way through to like the top. There's 2 single crochet rows before I ran out of the yarn and had to buy, I bought 1 additional skein from the Woolery in order to do the straps. And I saw someone on Ravelry add these like bamboo handles, which I absolutely loved. So I added them too. I've been carrying this out on the go. It perfectly fits like a knitting project and all my like normal purse kind of stuff in it. I like that I have both the option for like a shoulder strap and an arm strap, which is really convenient. This was just a really fun and quick project. The pattern calls for, I think, an E hook or a D. I think it was an E. F4, it was a 4mm. And it was, I could not get gauge, or I couldn't actually work with the yarn at that gauge. This pattern calls for you to hold 2 strands of the Rah Rah Raffia throughout the pattern, with the exception of like some reinforcement stitches you do on the inside of the handle where you hold the raffia single. But holding it double, there was no possible way I could get that small of a hook. So I sized up to a 6mm hook, which is a J hook, and that worked really well. I knew it would make me a little bit off gauge, but like it's a bag, so I figured it would just be a little bit bigger. That did mean that I ended up running out of yarns. This bag is actually 350 grams and the pattern calls for 300. So if you do end up needing to size up, just be mindful of that you might need an extra skein of yarn. Also, with the Rah Rah Raffia, I hadn't seen anyone really talk about it, but it is such a difficult yarn to get off the skein. Since I had 3 skeins, I kind of tested it. It's kind of bound on the outside with 2 bands that you cut off. And then I tried one pulling from the outside and then one pulling from the inside. You're definitely meant to pull from the inside. I'll start with that. Like if you get this yarn, it's not super difficult to work with, but actually it coming off the spool, it unspools itself sometimes so violently that you just end up with like a giant pile of raffia in your lap. And progressively, there's no inner cone and it's not wound super tight. So as you get, I would say probably like 70% of the way through the skein, it starts to kind of lose its integrity. By the time I got to the end of each one of the balls, it was just like a pile of mess. Thankfully, I didn't have any major tangle issues and I was able to get like everything worked out, but that's just something to keep in mind that I did have issues with this yarn paper situation. Overall, it was a pattern I really enjoyed. The instructions were really, I haven't crocheted in a while, so I had to look up some of the stitches just to make sure I was doing things right. The single crochet came back to me. The double crochet did not. I had to look up because I realized I was actually accidentally doing like a half double instead of a full double. But I would say for someone who hasn't crocheted in a long time, who doesn't crochet regularly, this pattern was easy to follow. There were lots of photos, so you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into. There's also a whole separate section at the bottom of the pattern if you don't want to knit this in a raffia. She also has different instructions if you want to knit this in a cotton-based yarn, since it has different like tension. There's a whole another set of instructions. The pattern is written in US crochet terms, but she also has a whole stitch glossary to convert the American American crochet stitch terms into UK stitch terms, because I know they're different, which is also really helpful. So I would consider this a beginner friendly pattern. It is kind of a complicated stitch, but I think once you get like the main stitch for the body of the bag is a little bit more complicated. That did take me a second to figure out, but I think I would say a confident beginner. How about that? Moving on, I have 3 different WIPs to talk about, 2 of which you saw in my last podcast and 1 of which is brand new. So the ones I've already talked about, I won't harp on too much, but I will show progress. So this is, again, my mixed rib cami that is taking forever and ever and ever just because it's, you know, tiny yarn and tiny needles. I'm still really happy, and I've definitely like visually made a lot of progress on this. It has now gone from like bra length to decent crop top length. So still working through this. This is kind of because I'm just like knitting the body in a straight up tube. I'm not doing any decreases or anything. This is pretty mindless now, so whenever I am doing need just an easy mindless project, this is the one that I've been grabbing lately. I did was just thinking about how cute this would be. I haven't seen anybody else do it, but I think it would be really cute to bind this off with like a lettuce hem. So I bought is it the Campagnala t-shirt pattern? I'm not really sure how to say it. I'll post the name of it up here, but I bought that to get the instructions for a lettuce hem because it has a similar rib pattern. And I just think that would be really cute. What do you guys think? I'm thinking about it. I have quite a bit of yarn left, so I'm just, like I said before, I'm just gonna knit this until I run out of yarn. So we'll see how long it ends up being. And seriously, let me know what you think about the lettuce hem, if you think that would be cute or if you think it would be a bad idea. I'm still thinking about it. My next WIP is the Beatrix cardigan. This is a pattern by Gregoria Fibers. I have the main body is done and I have one sleeve done. I have started this sleeve I think about 3 times now. I keep messing it up. The first time I was messing up the decrease, I realized I was messing up the decreases, so I ripped it back, and then I realized I had missed the setup row. And so it uses a center decrease, so you have like one fine line of decreases right down the middle of the underside of the sleeve. And since I missed that setup row for my size, it completely messed up the way the pattern looked, and it looked really messy. So I ripped it out again. And so this is my 3rd attempt doing the sleeve from, like 56 rows in based on the pattern. I did kind of talk about in the last podcast about this sleeve and how I had kind of mixed feelings. I mean, it looks egregious, right? Like this really, so you have the pattern has a steady increase. I think every 4 rounds you do a decrease when you first start the decreases, and then at a certain point you start doing really rapid decreases. So you start doing them every other round. And at first I felt like it didn't bother me, but I tried it on and then I had my partner try it on, and it kind of just looks like a flabby batwing kind of situation, which I wasn't really fond of. So what I think I'm going to do is just do the every 4 round decrease for the whole length of this sleeve and keep that all the way down through, because for the length of my arms I also need a whole extra pattern repeat of this shoulder cable pattern that's really pretty. I need a whole like 5 centimeter extra length because my arms are extra long. So I'm gonna do that and see how I feel about that and how it looks as I'm doing it. And if I like the way that looks on me and fits better, I'm going to rip back this through that extreme decrease section and redo the end of this sleeve. Because I thought I would be okay with it, but I don't think I am, and I really want this to look nice. I did see a lot of people in the pattern in the Ravelry, like the completed projects, a lot of people commented on how odd the extreme decrease angle is, and you can't see it really in the pattern photos, but you can see it in some of the project photos on Ravelry. Some people did what I'm talking about doing, where you just do like the gradual decreases, excuse me, like down the length of the sleeve for like where it's every 4 as per the pattern, to kind of, reduce that really sharp decrease there at the end. I think I did see someone who also did more decreases like in the cuff, which would also like continue the decreases through the cuff so it gets down to like a smaller size, which I also think I would like, because I don't like a really big sleeve, because I end up just rolling them up because I hate getting dragging my sleeves. You're never gonna catch me making like a bell sleeve sweater. Or that's one of the reasons I wasn't really keen on making the Marielle blouse, because it has such wide sleeves that don't have decreases at all, and I've seen some people try to figure out like the decreases for the pointel pattern on their own. But that's just to say, that's just like a thing for me. So I'm still working on that. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take me, but we'll see. I am really excited to wear it, and I do already have buttons for it. I don't know where they are, so that might be an important thing to look for soon. Last but certainly not least is another Friday Sweater Baby. I am knitting this out of Knitting for Olive Marzipan, and this is a Sewrella sock oopsie, which, am I gonna have enough for the sleeves? I don't know. So I've just started the bottom ribbing for the sweater. This is the 4 to 6 month old version. The last time I knit the 2 to 4 month, my husband's god sibling, he was the best man at our wedding. Him and his wife are pregnant. This is their first child. They're having a girl, so I picked this really pretty mauve color. I have the rest of the ribbing and this both sleeves to go. I have knit this once before for my little baby cousin, and I've knit a lot more since I knit the first one, so this one has a lot fewer mistakes. But I'm really happy with the way this has turned out so far, and it's knit up really quickly. After I just, what was that? My knitting needle fell off. As soon as I finish this sweater, I'm going to give it to them. And then I need to get a couple more balls of, I think I want to do the same colors, honestly. I really just like this marzipan, and then I have so many of these Sewrella sock oopsies because I bought a couple packs of them like 2 years ago. Some of them I am going to use for my Stardew Valley socks, but I'm going to be an aunt soon. So my brother and sister-in-law are pregnant also with their first child. So we don't know what the gender of the baby is going to be yet, but if I don't find out before I need to cast on, I might just pick a gender neutral color. I was going to do that with this one anyway, but I found out it was a girl, and I absolutely love this mauve color. I think it looks really pretty with the marzipan. So I'm going to get a couple more balls of marzipan and start another baby sweater for them too. I am a little worried that I'm not going to have enough. Based on the pattern, I think it said for 4 to 6 months I needed 18 grams of the stripe color for this size, which these were 20 gram skeins, these little like oopsie skeins. So my thought is I think I'm gonna weigh such a minuscule amount. I'm gonna weigh what I have left and see how much it is and split it. And if I don't have enough, maybe just like stripe it down like to the elbows and then do the rest of both sleeves in just marzipan and just make it work that way. Because I have already started like this sleeve with this mauve color, but we'll see. I love how cute. This is so cute. I did, again, since I've knit a little bit more since I made my first one, the cast off for this neckline I think is going to be a lot easier for them to get over their baby's head. Just so pleased with this. Ready to get it done, get it off the needle so I can get it to them. Their baby shower is coming up in August, so I want to make sure this is done before then. Next up is acquisitions. I haven't been buying any yarn recently because I am going to flock at the end of the month, and so I was kind of saving all of my purchases for then. But I do have 2 acquisitions because I had some pre-orders from like several months ago that just came in. So my first acquisition was the pre-order from Woolberry Fiber Co.'s finale sale. So she just went out of business, or she changed up her business. I saw she's doing some kind of like book club now. People online seem to have mixed feelings about it, but I got 2 colors from her farewell collection. This is Flower Crown and then Frost. This is totally my color. I love this. This is like a cream with pink and blue and neutrals throughout it. I thought this might be really cute, as there's another like quilt block sock pattern that has little quilt stars like all over the whole sock. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put it up here. I thought this would be really cute as the main base. And then I just got a Zower ball in Piano Bar when I was in Anchorage, and I think it would be really nice as the contrast with this because the colors would match really well. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but these are both her sock base, the Berry Cozy sock. So it's 80% merino and 20% nylon. I would absolutely love just a cute pair of socks in this too. I'm a big sock knitter fan, especially with the single skein. So I have these two. If you guys have any ideas too, I am open to suggestions. My plans aren't set in stone yet, but really happy with those. And the other pre-order I got in was from Sunday Fiber Co. This is a Canadian hand dyer in Vancouver. This is from her On Sundays collection. So this is her Eco Sock base in the shade Beach Grass. Let's see if I can get a good. I absolutely loved the colors in this. I, again, would love to make a pair of socks out of this. And then I got in Shucks. So this is based on an oyster, like the inside of an oyster, which I'm also wearing my Hello Lavender oyster earrings right now. But I got the Surrey Alpaca and the Eco Sock. My thought, she had a sample of this with the Chilton socks, which I was already planning on knitting, and I absolutely love this color. It's the prettiest like pastel, I think she said 5 color variegation, and I just love the way it turned out. I also got this on Surrey Alpaca. My thought was that maybe I could pair this with like a white or cream yarn to make a winter hat with. If I don't end up doing the Chilton socks in this, I may pair these together to make like another Oslo hat. I think would be really cute. I absolutely loved this whole collection that she did, and I love the style that she's doing too. She's got to open until of this drop, like she's got to open until September, which means like as you're knitting stuff, if you need another skein, if you want to order like another whole set. She just came out with a bunch of like spring and summer blend yarns too, like a silk and then a custom linen blend she had milled. And the colors are just so pretty. So I'm deeply tempted to get this like on her silk base or maybe on a linen or something, because I just think it would make a really pretty tank top. But I already have so many yarns for like spring and summer, but I really love this Shucks color. Really happy with those. As far as the next couple things in my queue, I think it's going to still take me another minute to finish the Beatrix cardigan, and honestly the tank top, the mixed rip cami, is also probably going to take me a little bit still. When I finish the current Friday sweater baby, like I said, I need to start a second one for my new niece or nephew. After that kind of took the place of my sock whip. So my next sock whip is going to be the Little Paddock socks by Ambrose Smith. And I'm going to do it with this, I got Hearth from Red Door Fiber Studio. Absolutely love, it's like a denim with like some brick color, gold color. Very excited. I haven't knit anything in blue, and I do think I'm wearing blue. I think I look good in blue. Green's like mostly my color, but at least looking at my color analysis, like a denim blue is really pretty. I know these are going to be socks, but I'm really excited to see how these work up in a sock, how this color works up in a sock. I think at the time that I'm filming this, I think the Isabel top from the Knit Pearl Girl comes out tomorrow. And I had already gotten yarn. I signed up for the test knit, but I didn't get selected. I had gone ahead and ordered the recommended yarn for that pattern, which was the Knitting for Olive silk, the pure silk. I got 4 skeins of it in cream, and I would really like to do the no button version of this top. It's just a pretty lace tank top. I haven't knit with the Knitting for Olive silk before, and I'm really excited. I think this color is going to look good on me too. Yeah, those are my next kind of in the queue plans. Something may jump it. Obviously, I snuck in 2 baby sweaters and an entire crochet bag between my last podcast and this one. So, surprises are always imminent too. So, non-knitting and crocheting related. I had a hole in the back pocket of my jeans. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this, but absolutely love Stardew Valley, and I've seen people do these cross-stitch patches before. So I looked up the cross-stitch pattern for the little duck from Stardew Valley and covered a hole in my jeans. Absolutely love it. It's so cute. And I had to order like a whole pack of, is it pronounced Ida cloth, whatever the cross-stitch like weave base cloth is for cross stitching. I had to order a whole pack of it to do this patch anyway, so I have so much more to be able to make like more patches or cross stitch stuff. I have a really cute pair of like short overalls that are like an olive green linen that would love to embroider some like ladybugs and beetles and moths and stuff on before the Noah Kahan concert next month. Oh, I need to learn more of the lyrics. I've been listening to the album, but it also makes me kind of sad, and I'm not really in the mood to be sad lately, so you kind of have to microdose the sadness in the summer when I'm actively trying to keep the vibes high, I've also we had a book club. So our last book club we talked about Yesteryear, which I mentioned a couple videos ago. We had a really great discussion about it. It was a really good book. I think you just need to go in with it with an open mind. For that book club, I really have been wanting to I got a new tart pan. I've really been wanting to use it. My husband got me for Christmas several years ago Julia Child's cookbooks because I had watched a couple Julia Child like documentaries back to back. It was a great gift. And I wanted to make one of the tarts from those books. So I picked out, we live in Georgia and it's the summer. So I picked out the peach tart or tarte aux pêches. I made a test tart and learned a few things. I will say, I don't think she blind baked the crust nearly long enough, at least not for my oven. So I ended up like doubling the blind bake time for the shell. But I made that for our book club and I'm super, super happy with the way that it turned out. Making like pastry crust like that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I think the first one, it was definitely like a learning experience, but like if you haven't made something that like feels or looks complicated like that before, I think it's easier than it looks. Maybe I'm just overly confident, but I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot. I'm looking forward to making another one. I am currently reading The Enchanted Greenhouse, which is the sequel to The Spell Shop. I've been working my way through that quite a bit. And then the next book we picked for like my in-person girlfriend book club is The Wicked Deep, which is a young adult fiction about a few witches who were drowned when they were like teenagers in this tiny town, and now they come back and they like take revenge on the townspeople on the anniversary of their death every year. It sounds really interesting. I just got the book from the library, so I haven't started that one yet, but I'm excited to read it. It sounded, the way that my friend described it to me, it kind of sounded like The Craft, which I know it's the dead of summer, but I'm already really, really excited for spooky season. I'm excited for the second Practical Magic movie. I've been really into like collecting some more physical media. I've always been a physical media girly, but especially with video games. But recently we got a DVD player, so I've been getting some more like secondhand vintage DVDs. I got Hocus Pocus on DVD, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, the Studio Ghibli movie. And then I got my husband, Lawrence of Arabia was on sale, so I got that one. And The Fifth Element, which, all great choices. But what have you guys been watching? What are you reading? Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, drop me your favorite food emoji. Personally, mine is the croissant. I feel like I send that to people all the time. What's your favorite? Drop it down below, and I will catch you next time. Bye.
In my local yarn store video, I talked about how Fiber Parts in Avondale Estates was going out of business, and that business has been replaced with Pink Tiger Fabrics, which is also a yarn and craft store. So I wanted to take you guys on a little tour of her new space. I love all the cozy new seating that she has in here. There's lots of room for the fiber circle that she has every Sunday from 11 to 2. Also lots of notions like clover knitting needles, wooden crochet hooks, and all kinds of new yarn. She also has a small collection of indie dyed variegated yarns from local hand dyers. One was this Quill Them with Kindness, which I thought was really pretty. I loved this particular skein. It's really hard to find hand dyed cotton skeins, and I really loved these colors. The back section of the store has a whole big selection of different quilting cottons, knitting patterns, quilting patterns. I really love this mini quilt that the owner made herself. She also has a selection of Merchant & Mills cotton and linen fabrics. These guys are unbelievably soft and really beautiful in person. There's also a really big selection of embroidery materials, all kinds of hoops and threads and kits, needle felting kits, embroidery kits. I especially loved this one with all these beetles and bugs. I was thinking about doing one of these onto some clothes for the Noah concert, and it has all kinds of things you need, everything you need to be able to get your project done. Section has been completely updated and has all kinds of items for quilting and sewing, all different kinds of threads, buttons, needles, measures, different cut mats, ribbons, everything you can think of.